Hey everybody, what's up? I'm ShibbyPod. I'm a streamer on Twitch and a Wave Race 64 speedrunner. I've been the champion of the game since 2014, and today in this video I'm just here to show everybody why we run on Wave Race 64 Shindu and like an easy way to translate all the menu options and everything, as well as in the end of the video I'm going to show like how to properly manage your memory. So like your best time saves, your wave runner settings, if you choose your rider settings as something other than default and you have a hard time remembering what they are, as well as how to like save your ghost data to a memory pack, and even how we're going to go about things in the future as far as sharing data and things like that over the internet. But anyway, I've got two capture cards booted up here. On the left screen, I have Wave Race 64 Shindu, which was the re-released memory pack, but Rumble Pack version of the game that was only released in Japan. I get a lot of questions like, why do we run on the Japanese version? Well, it's not that we necessarily only run on the Japanese version, but we run on the re-released version, which just happens to only have been out in Japan. So yeah, we run on a Japanese version, but it's not the only Japanese version. This is Wave Race 64 Shindu. The box looks like this. It is white as opposed to the blue regular Japanese box. You've got the telltale like yellow bar that goes across here. That is saying that it's Rumble compatible. And then the cartridge looks like this. You've got all four riders on there, and again, there's that yellow strip saying that it's Rumble compatible. So if you're looking for it online, it's usually only a couple of bucks cheaper, or a couple of bucks more expensive than the already really cheap Wave Race 64 1.0 version, we refer to it as. There were some other versions like Virtual Console, IQ, Wii U Virtual Console, but I'm not really getting into those right now. Although the Wii U Virtual Console in Japan was a re-released Shindu version. It's like that and IQ were like the only two times that Shindu ever got a re-release. So we play on N64, and these are nicely set up right now, side by side. I've been giving them about the same amount of runtime and everything. In fact, it's interesting to know that it's about like 20 minutes of runtime before I started this, and Shindu is like 2 cycles ahead, almost. Like 2... I don't know if they're the same length, like all of the cutscenes, but it's like catching up to being almost 2 cycles ahead just on the menu screen. But anyway, Shindu runs faster and smoother than the other version. It's just an overall better Wave Race 64 experience, and it has a couple of extra features which we'll get into here. So first things first, I'm going to show all of the menus side by side in both English and in Japanese. So if you're a new runner, you'll easily be able to reference these. If the menus aren't paused long enough for you, you can feel free to pause the video at any time. So of course we get in here, and our first menu is just, you know, what mode do you want? So we've got your 4 modes: championship, time trial, stunt mode, and 2-player. And then the bottom option is just the options. So of course if we go into championship mode, we get the different difficulties. Just realize that I don't have them unlocked on the other cartridge. That's not a big deal, because the only difference between all of these, of course, is that Shindu has reverse unlocked, and once you beat expert, you'll unlock that on the other one. But what's different is when you hit normal, it gives you a second option. Warm-up is the top option. Of course, when we run all championships, you want to avoid going into the warm-up. It is not part of the run. So go down to start the race. Start the race being the second option on this menu. But we're not here to play championships right now. I'm going to show the menus. So of course we got time trials. This does not give you another menu, But it is interesting to know if you are playing on Shindu, it will also prompt you here if you don't have a memory card in it when going into time trial. Like, for example, I'll take my memory pack out, and here it prompts me to put the memory pack in instead of going right into time trial. So that's all that menu is saying, is like, hey, you can put in a memory card now if you would like to save. And it's a controller pack, just whoops. It's a controller pack, just goes into the back of the controller. And so this one, I'll put it in, and then it loads. So interesting also that when you're playing with a controller pack in the back of the controller, the game will run a little bit slower. It takes time to check between levels, like when you're entering a new menu and stuff like that, what's on the memory card. And I think that's only with the Shindu version, because it's checking for saved ghost data when you're going into time trials. So like everything will take a little bit longer to load. Like I have a preloaded dolphin there because I want to show something. But anyway, we go here. Let's go back to the last menu because I want to keep showing the menus here. So we're back to this 5-option menu here. And stunt mode is down here. Of course, we're not going to get too much into stunt mode. Then 2 players, and what's really important is options. So let's go into the bottom option here. Now, there's just the same amount of options here as there is in English, so it's really easy to translate these from one to the other, like change names, change records, change conditions, audio, erase course records, save and load, and end. These are all the same in both versions. Let's go up to the let's see. This is really important here. Change conditions. A lot of players will have conditions changed off of default when they get a cartridge. But let's say, like, I don't have these unlocked in the other side, so I'll explain what these are. This is like your normal difficulty settings, your hard difficulty settings, and expert difficulty settings. And it will affect both championship and time trial if you change these. And of course right now it looks like hard is down to like 1 buoy miss. I'll explain these too. So you hit A and it goes down into these. This is explaining the wave condition. So right now it's on default. Notice when I change it off of default, it flashes red, and there's some text at the bottom. This is telling me that the time won't save because it's not default, and it's advantageous somehow, or it could be advantageous somehow. So it's not going to save your time when you get a PB when it's like this, or like this, or like this. So there are 3 options that don't count, and then 1 that does. This is default. I think this is calm, wild, and random. So when you do random, it will go somewhere in between calm and wild, and you don't get to know until you start. So just play on default, because then you get the regular wave conditions of the level. Oh, and moving on here to the next option down, just hit A to go down. This is like how many buoy misses are you going to be allowed. Like, you can't actually go up higher than 5, and 5 is default. So it's good, and there's no advantage to being allowed less misses than what's default, because that just makes it harder. So you are allowed to do 1, 2, 3, or 4. And notice that text at the bottom does not appear here, saying that it will not save because, well, you know, it's not an advantage, and the game knows it's not an advantage. But hit A again here, and you go down to the number of laps. Like, the number of laps by default is 3. All of the records on the leaderboard that you see will be about 3, will be how fast the players did 3 laps. Of course, we do have the 1 lap category as well, but those are all taking place during 3 lap attempts because we want the time to save. The only way to get the time to save is to do 3 laps. Notice if you go up to, well, I guess you can't do less than 3, but if you go up, I mean, your times are not going to even compete anyway with completing it in 3 laps, but it will save your individual laps. So if you're trying to get good at a course, you know, spamming 9 lap attempts is often something that gets recommended to players, because that repetition will really help you out. Getting 9 laps in a row before it gives you another chance, before you get a break. It's like 3 full runs of the level. Default is 3. All of the best 3-lap records are going to be on three laps. I don't know what to tell you. You're not going to be able to do 4 laps as fast as a speedrunner does 3 laps, of course. So let's say you mess these up and you're not sure which one you messed up. Like, you just hit a bunch of buttons and you went out and you went back in and you hit some more buttons and you just changed a bunch of shit and you're like, dude, I don't even know what to do. The best way to fix this is to go down to this bottom left option that's on the top row, the bottom left of the top row. And as you can see on the other capture card, this is defaults. So you just hit A on that and it changes everything back to default for you. You don't have to remember what you changed. So that's really nice. It's like, this is a really good practice tool, playing on calm conditions, playing on wild conditions, playing with 9 laps, things like that. It's really good training. It's really good practice. Can't emphasize that enough. This is the audio menu. It's actually really good for streaming. So by default it's on stereo. You can also choose mono or headphone. When I'm streaming, I usually use headphone, but if I'm streaming with another person, I'll use mono, because if I have like 2 capture cards like this set up, if I have it on mono, I can then get all of the audio out of one side, and I can change the balance in that capture card by right-clicking it in the audio mixer in OBS, and then changing the balance all the way to the side that my capture card is on. And then As Money or Game, whoever else is here, can have their audio all faded to the balance all the way to the other capture card side, which would be the right side in this case. And since they're in mono, all of their audio is going through that right side. So there's no audio missing, and you can split it from speaker to speaker. Really helpful. Also really good is this. This is our music, on or off. On is default, off flashes red. So you can tell which one you're on just by, you don't even have to reference this, really. And this is helpful too, because for streaming purposes, you can turn off the music here and then just play some Spotify in the background on your PC, and you'll just get the game audio. But even bigger, of course, is when you're speedrunning championship modes, this setting has to be off if you're going for like the best times, because the music will slow down the game a little bit, and it's most noticeable on Southern Island. It's like 3 seconds plus on Southern Island, so it's really important to have this turned off. Kind of like the Diddy Kong Racing community keeps theirs off. It is definitely noticeable. And then this is just the listen to music or the sound test. We can hear different songs by scrolling to them. Pretty self-explanatory. Not a very complicated menu there. But here's where it gets really interesting. This is Erase Course Records. Now, before I go into anything, we can view the records too and see what I have that would be cool to erase. So yeah, I got my world record over there, the 103.186. That's good too. That's good. That's good. Okay, but anyway, I could go through and delete like an individual course's records by going to that menu without erasing the whole memory card. And that's pretty useful, especially if you're trying to hoard a time from the community and you're going to show them later, for example. You could go to, like, this next menu, Save and Load, and from Save and Load you can copy, like, your new awesome time that you just got that you don't want to show the community yet. Copy it to the memory pack. Of course, I don't have it in right now. It's in this controller. So I would copy it over here. It's going to ask me what I'm copying at this point. And I can go This is the Wave Riders custom, stats that you can, the settings anyway. And then this is the this is to copy the times. So this would copy all the times and scores. So I don't want to do that right now, but I could do that and then erase it off of here from like the individual one, and then, load it from the memory pack later. The problem with that is that I don't really trust the memory packs too much, because they tend to, fail after a long time. Of course, the next option over in this menu is erase. It's going to ask you which one you want to erase. It just points to the one. So that one is pretty self-explanatory too. It'll give you a "are you sure?" before it actually goes to. So I don't have a controller pack in there, but I do in here. Oh, it's first going to ask me, what am I erasing? Am I erasing the Wave Rider settings, or am I erasing the memory pack? Or not the memory pack, but the times. I'll say... wait, I got it wrong, actually. This is the Wave Rider settings, or this is other. And now this is asking me, do I want to erase the dolphin that I pre-saved? There's another empty slot for the dolphin that's grayed out. And then this bottom option is the times and scores, if that's what I'm trying to erase. So, yeah, pretty cool. I'll show you the dolphin stuff next, though. We'll go to end. Now, this is something that the other cartridge does not have. 1.0 does not have the ability to race the dolphin or your best time or anything like that. And this is super useful in Wave Race 64 speedrunning because it helps you get better fast. Having that ghost dolphin to race against is invaluable. So how to do that, I've already saved one prior to this. Let's go into a time trial with both of these, so I can show you the time trial menus and that kind of thing. So I'll just go to Sunny Beach. Okay, I'm there on that one. It's going to check the memory card, so it will be a little bit slower. If you're running RTA, do not use a memory card. Pull it out, keep it out, don't worry about it. So it takes longer to start because it's going to load that dolphin from the memory card, actually. If I did not have their memory card... Oh, I'll show this right now, first and foremost. How to load a dolphin. Very easy. It's saved on the memory pack, on the controller pack, so I'll turn off the console. Normally, turning off the console, you lose the dolphin, because it's a session best dolphin, it's not the all-time best dolphin, So this will reset the... It'll reset the memory on the cartridge, and I'll be able to jump into a time trial against the dolphin that I saved on my last session. And I'll show you how to save it so that it does that. The text at the bottom of the rotating course there is the indicator that it's saved and it's on the memory card. So we'll load it up, and there it is. So here, I'll try to beat it and save a new dolphin in its place. It's going to be tough to beat this one, I think. While I'm doing this, I'll mention too, actually, Modal and I were talking. He's another moderator of the Wave Race group. Yeah, I'm not going to beat it, I don't think. And he was saying that you actually get more than one chance to save the dolphin, and I tested this, and he is right. So like if I lose to this dolphin, which is kind of likely, I'll have to show you another way. Okay. Here, I went to the main menu, but I'll complete one on Sunset Bay and show you the process of saving the dolphin. As you saw, we have one saved on that level already. But I'll go into Sunset Bay here, where there's not a dolphin saved. And I'll just do a completion here. And we'll save the dolphin. And we'll, like, reload it back up. We'll reset the console and reload it back up. Alright. So, we do a completion here on Sunset Bay, and then we go past this menu. This will be, of course, the times. And now, here we get these 5 options. And actually, here, I'd like to show you these, but this is... Yeah, just so that we can do a side-by-side comparison, I'll do a quick completion on this. And then you'll be able to see both of the menus. Really, the only difference is going to be that 4th option is not going to be there on this one. The 4th option, of course, is the option to save the dolphin. Oh man, this is not my controller. Ooh. Not an easy way to get 103. But we might still get it. Oh, I don't know what that skid. Oh, baby. Okay. So, at this menu, in the English version over here, we'll skip the results. You only get 4 options, but you get the same 4 options are here. The first 3 are the same: retry, watercraft select, and course select. And then the bottom one is quit game. We don't want to quit game, we want to save this dolphin. So you click that 4th option. Now it's asking me which of the 2 slots on the memory pack do I want to save it to. You'll need a whole controller pack for this. The first one, do I want to overwrite that Sunny Beach record that I got, the dolphin there, or this empty one? You can tell the difference because the text on the right of the box. If there's text on the right of the box, that slot is taken right now by something else, but I can overwrite it. Or this one has shorter text with nothing on the right of it. That one means to save it to the empty slot. So I'll save it to the empty slot. Am I sure? By default, it's no, so it'll boot you back out. You can just move it to the left and yes. And there you go. Now, if I do this, turn it off, turn it back on, I'm actually going to have access to both of those 2 dolphins. So, this one and this one, see, they're both loaded now. I didn't have to even turn off the console. That's just to prove that it's saved for another session. So, yeah. I do have some more stuff to show. Actually, you're gonna really like this part from a data management perspective. Let's say you have more than one cartridge, like me. And let's say you get like a PB on one of them that you don't have on the other. So, for example, here, I want to find a good one to show you guys. Where's Glacier Coast? Okay. So, this cartridge that I'm showing on the Shindu, on the Japanese version here, is my cartridge from when I was playing in the Wave Race Olympics last year. And I got, this is Glacier Coast, I got a 115-203, which as you can which as you can see on the other cartridge, 115-203 would actually be third place. You know? That would actually be in my top 3. So let's say I want to copy all my best times from this and put them on this one without erasing any of my best times on that. I just want to combine them. Another good example would be Southern Island. I got 113.799, which was my best time during the Olympics, but it's like third on the other cartridge. Let's say I want to combine these. So I'll show you how to do that. I don't have to delete anything on that cartridge. Instead, what I'm going to do is go down here to the save and load. I'm going to go to the copy option, which is the first one. I'm going to copy it, all those times, to it. Am I sure? Yes. I'll copy everything over to the memory pack. And now watch. I'm going to pull out the memory pack at a safe time, like now. Put it in this controller. This works from version to version. I've already tested this. Now I want to copy the times that I just saved from the memory card over to the cartridge. Times and scores. Unify? Yes. Execute means yes, you know, that's... So now let's go back and look at those records that I was talking about. Glacier Coast. Remember that 115-203 that was only on this cartridge? And now it's on both. And it takes its rightful place as third place on that cartridge now. And of course, same with the Southern Island 799 is now in its place as third. And of course, the initials stayed the same as well. So I really like this feature, combining times. You actually cannot overwrite a memory card without erasing it by going to this option, this middle one, and erasing. Or you could also erase the times and scores off of the cartridge. But yeah, so where does that leave us, like, going in to the future? Here's what I think. And this goes hand in hand with the fact that I really don't trust these controller packs to last very long. The batteries die, they'll lose your data. They will lose your Dolphin, they will lose your game scores, they'll lose your game's saves. So, backing things up. In the future, and we're in the future right now, we can already do everything I'm going to say. Everything I'm going to say. We can already do this. What we're going to start doing is saving our controller pack data to our PC. We'll do this using a device such as either a RAFnet controller adapter and a memory card manager program on the PC, or using the virtual memory card, virtual controller pack on an EverDrive device. You can copy your data over to a memory pack, boot up an EverDrive. You never even have to play on it. And then do this, like unify it with the virtual controller pack that's on the EverDrive. And then you can just load that onto your PC because you've got the SD card on that. So, what from there? We can also save the dolphins and ghosts to a PC, that means. So we can load up our best times onto a PC, save them. Cool, well, we have them backed up. Well, what's that good for? Well, here's what it's good for. Using websites and services like Dropbox, we can actually share this data with each other, meaning that you can download time scores, dolphin ghosts from other players like me or Dr. Fish or Modal or Game or Ilu if he wants to. Anybody who could do this, we could share this data with each other, and you know, you could easily download it, save it onto your memory card using the RAFnet adapter or the EverDrive technique that I talked about. Load it back into the actual game on Shendu, and I could race somebody else's ghost, or they could race mine. So really cool. Or there's splits, for example, something that you can't usually do, aside from mailing a memory card to another player or a cartridge. This is like the best way to do it. So that's pretty much everything for the video here. Thanks for watching. I think it ended up being a little bit longer than I was hoping. But yeah, hope to see you guys in the next one.